Every gardener knows the frustration of a soil bed that dries out too quickly. You water in the morning, check at noon, and the top layer is already dusty and cracked. Plants wilt, roots struggle, and all your careful planting feels wasted. But there's a simple, almost forgotten method that can transform your beds into self-regulating moisture reservoirs, a technique I call the soil sponge trick. It's not about fancy irrigation systems or constant watering. It's about understanding soil structure, organic matter, and the way water moves underground, so your plants get what they need when they need it. For Hydrohaven viewers, this isn't theory. It's hands-on, actionable, and easy to replicate. Once you apply this trick, you'll see a dramatic difference in soil resilience, plant health, and water efficiency, even in the hottest, driest months. This is the kind of approach that turns a garden from high maintenance into almost self-sufficient, while teaching lessons about how life interacts with the soil beneath our feet. The soil sponge works because water is stored where roots can access it easily. Most gardeners water superficially, hoping moisture will sink down where it's needed. The problem is that soil often dries faster at the surface than deeper layers, and water can be lost to evaporation before roots can use it. The soil sponge trick solves this by creating a structure that captures water, holds it, and releases it gradually. It starts with the soil itself. Mixing in fibrous organic matter, compost, shredded leaves, coconut coir, or well-aged mulch creates tiny pockets that act like a sponge. When you water, the soil absorbs moisture instead of letting it run off or evaporate immediately. Over time, this sponge-like medium allows roots to access water steadily, reducing stress on plants during hot or windy days. In effect, the soil becomes a reservoir, feeding the garden slowly and efficiently, much like natural forest soil does under a canopy of leaves. You know, gardeners often overlook layering, which actually maximizes moisture retention. Another crucial element of the soil sponge is layering. While many traditional beds mix all the ingredients together evenly, creating subtle layers can, well, dramatically improve water retention. A base layer of coarse organic matter or lightly composted material helps with drainage, while still holding moisture for roots that extend downward. The middle layer, which is richer in fine compost or humus, captures and stores water for more immediate absorption. And then the top layer, lightly mulched, protects the soil from evaporation and keeps the temperatures stable. This approach, interestingly, mimics natural soil horizons and encourages roots to grow in a way that really maximizes their access to moisture. It also reduces the frequency of surface watering, keeping plants healthier and reducing those fungal or disease issues that can crop up from wet leaves or oversaturated soil. The trick, you see, is enhanced by adding materials that actively hold water. In addition to organic matter, certain additives act like miniature sponges themselves. Clay particles, biochar, or vermiculite can dramatically increase water retention while still allowing roots to breathe. The combination of fibrous organics and mineral additives creates a dynamic system. Water is absorbed quickly during watering, stored in small reservoirs, and then gradually released as roots draw it down. For practical application, just sprinkle a thin layer of vermiculite or finely crushed clay into the middle layer of your bed when preparing soil. Next, mix it lightly with compost or aged mulch. When water is applied, it doesn't just saturate the soil and run off. It penetrates, spreads, and lingers in the root zone. This method reduces waste, improves plant resilience, and keeps the bed consistently moist without overwatering. Practical steps to implement the soil sponge in your garden are actually quite straightforward. Implementing this trick requires only a few careful steps. First, start by loosening the bed to avoid compaction. Then add a base layer of coarse organic material, followed by a rich, fine compost layer mixed with moisture-retentive minerals. Lightly water this new bed to help the materials settle. Finally, apply a top layer of mulch to prevent evaporation and protect from wind and sun. When watering, focus on deep, slow irrigation rather than frequent surface sprinkling. The soil sponge will absorb the water, and roots will gradually draw moisture downward. Observe over a few days. Plants should stay upright longer, even during heat spikes. Over time, the sponge effect increases as microbes and worms integrate the organic matter into the soil, further improving structure and water-holding capacity. For gardeners with existing beds, you can still retrofit the soil sponge by lightly cultivating the surface, incorporating compost and moisture-retaining amendments, and covering with mulch. The key is to create conditions that mimic the natural sponge-like environment that allows water to stay where roots need it most. This soil sponge trick demonstrates how working with soil biology improves gardens naturally. The beauty of this method is that it doesn't rely on pumps, timers, or synthetic gels. It works by creating an environment where water, roots, and soil life interact efficiently. Worms, fungi, and microbes contribute by breaking down organic matter, creating channels for water flow and further stabilizing moisture. The result is a garden bed that's self-regulating, more resilient to drought, and far healthier for plants. For Hydrohaven viewers, the lesson is clear. The most effective watering system often exists within the soil itself. By building beds that act like sponges, we harness the principles of natural ecosystems, reduce maintenance, and improve yield. This technique works for raised beds, in-ground plots, and even container gardening, making it universally applicable for modern sustainable gardens. If you want more practical soil hacks, organic gardening secrets, and ways to make your beds resilient and low maintenance, make sure to subscribe to Hydrohaven and share this video with friends who care about smart, science-based gardening.